Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the DC Universe Daily Live. Yes, the director of the Constantine sequel starring one iconic legend, Keanu Reeves, will be not just R-rated, but he's confirmed it, the director, that it's going to be a hard R. And I really like this. Let me explain to you why. In terms of the Snyderverse, it was for adults. It wasn't for kids, it was just for adults. Every movie, it was adult DC. But what's clear from the new DC universe, you can have kind of R-rated movies like Constantine, but you could also have like stuff for kids like Superman or Batman or things like that. Because if you go to the kind of pantheon of DC Comics, you'll see some light fare, you'll see some light stories, and you'll see some darker stories from the Elseworld as well. So I like the fact that Constantine 2 is going to be a hard R. It doesn't mean a new DC universe throughout the board has to be hard R. It means you can get some hard R, you can get some family-friendly stuff. We're going to get a bit of everything. And this is what a live-action comic book franchise should be. It shouldn't be one thing, because I'm sick to death of people saying, oh, the DC, when it was the DCEU should be this, or the DCEU should be this. Every film doesn't have to be family friendly, right? Like the MCU. And not every movie has to be Snyderverse style either. You can have some family friendly movies, and you can also have some hard R movies like Constantine 2. It'd be interesting to see if Joker Folie à Deux is going to be hard R, just a little bit R. We'll have to wait and see. The first Joker movie, if I remember rightly, yes, it was R-rated. But there wasn't anything that bad in it, apart from when we get to the bit in the interview when he blows Murray's brains out. But the kind of subject matter was very, very adult. But Constantine 2 has been confirmed to be hard R, and I'm happy. And this is what I want from the new DC universe. Light stuff, darker stuff, and hard R stuff as well. It means we're going to get a bit of everything. And I like that. I think this is what we want. And, it's not one suit fits all, right? So some stuff families can come into, and some stuff adults can come into, and some stuff adults can sit with their kids and watch it. That's the idea. Because if it's all just the same thing, it's boring. This is Warner Brothers, this is DC, and I think I agree with what The Rock said earlier today, where he said, we're not becoming like Marvel. We're going to be our own thing. We can't have the identity of Marvel. DC has to have its own identity. I wonder if The Rock is involved with these discussions with James Gunn and Peter Safran, David Zaslav, Mike DeLuca, and Pam Adby. I have no idea, but he certainly has opinions how DC should be. And we know The Rock is a huge, passionate DC fan. Now, some people don't like The Rock. It's the world we live in today. Some people love The Rock. I think he's okay. He's not Elvis Presley to me. He's not, but it's always interesting to hear what people from inside the industry say about, the franchise I'm looking forward to. Because my eyes are on the prize. My eyes are on 2024/2025. I will talk about the 4 movies coming out next year. The DC movies, I'm excited for them. But that's not what it's all about for me. The future is where it is for me. Why? Because this is a future that can be molded into its own thing and better than what we had with the DCEU. Now, I come on here every day and I tell you what my issues are with the DCEU, where most of the movies are great, but the franchise sucks. And I think for most people, as DC fans, they wanted better than what they got from the DCEU. Now, from this new universe, we're going to get something fresh. We're going to have some light stuff, darker stuff, family-friendly stuff. That's the way it should be. Now, DC fans are DC fans, and fans in general are fans in general. Some people say it should all be like the Snyderverse. Oh, it should all be like the MCU. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can have a mixture films with different tones that can appeal and appease different people. So if you have a lighter Superman movie, but then you have a Constantine sequel that's hard R, there's variety there. This is the type of variety you won't see in the MCU. Even though as soon as the Constantine sequel director said that Constantine 2 is going to be hard R, all of a sudden rumors are coming out that Deadpool 2 will also be hard R. Yeah, right. Do me a favor, not at Disney. There's been lots of disagreements between Feige and Ryan Reynolds about what kind of movie Deadpool 3 should be. Did I say Deadpool 2 before? Anyway, Deadpool 3. And Deadpool 2, by the way, wasn't even as good as the first one. But, so I'm very excited for the Constantine sequel. I was wondering if that was still happening. It looks like it's still happening. And I can tell you that that movie is happening because of David Zaslav, because Keanu has been trying to make this film a thing for years. He has a great passion for this character and he wanted to play him again. Now, actually, the Constantine movie is quite good, considering I would never myself have ever cast Keanu as Constantine personally. And I think Matt Ryan is the perfect Constantine, and it's a shame, an absolute shame, he's not going to be our Constantine going forward. He had one series where he was great, where it was great. It was cancelled because they scheduled it on the graveyard shift of Friday fucking nights. And then they dumped the poor bastard on Legends of Tomorrow, where that was never going to work because he can't really be Constantine. But I am looking forward to this Constantine sequel. So as I say already, this DC universe is looking really, really exciting. So could we have the Superman movie, then Constantine? Because that's interesting, isn't it? Because you go from one extreme to the other. You go from Superman, which is probably going to be very family friendly, as it should be. It is Superman after all. But then you go to a really dark, hard R movie like Constantine 2. So I'm here for all of that, and they're going to make the Joker movie. I still don't see how Joker can come out in 2024. So they start at the end of this year. So it'll take about 6 months to shoot it. So will that be about June time? I suppose they could. I don't know, because that movie is supposed to be coming out next year, right? So yeah, very weird. We'll see how that works, and I can't wait for all the hype around Joker Folie to come out, because this is going to be a really dark musical. And this is ambitious, but this is like what you need to do with the superhero genre, because we've seen so many of the same movies in the superhero movie genre. But I've been talking about maybe doing a silent comic book movie, like just with the words coming up, like in the old Chaplin days. That would be kind of interesting as well, if they ever tried to do that. But I think the more superhero movies they make, the more they have to differentiate from the norm. Otherwise, people are going to get bored. So I think it's awesome that Joker 2 is going to be this musical, and basically the love affair, between Joker and Harley, she sees it as a musical, and that's so Harley Quinn. So Todd Phillips seems to understand what kind of character Harley is, and I hope that he spoke to Bruce Timm, the co-creator of Harley Quinn, a lot more than James Gunn did and David Ayer did. So we can get a more comic book accurate Harley. But when I say comic book accurate, she wasn't created in the comics. She was created for Batman, the animated series. So all you would have to do is to watch that show to understand her. Now, then, Todd is going to evolve Harley Quinn, of course, because this is going to be probably an R-rated movie, like the first one was. So she ain't going to be like the animated character totally. You can evolve these DC characters. They don't have to be copy and pasted, but they should seem like their characters. Unfortunately, when you think about the Harley Quinn animated series right now, for me, it isn't Harley from the comics. It's progressive. It's progressive Hollywood's kind of idea. Oh, she has to have a thing with Poison Ivy because, she can't be in a toxic relationship, because toxic relationships are bad. But you know what? I've seen a lot of good toxic relationships in storytelling, and they work. You can't just have a pure relationship. And why can't two women be in a toxic relationship? Because progressive Hollywood don't like that. So we have Poison Ivy, and Harley Quinn. But anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Joker 2, and I'm really happy that Constantine 2 is going to be a hard R movie. It's really exciting that we're getting Keanu Reeves in the DCU. And I think a lot of kind of MCU shills, or the ones who say, I like both universes, right, are saying, oh my God, Keanu Reeves, he turned down the MCU for DC. Why would anyone do that? Because DC's fucking awesome. That's why. DC's a better comic company than Marvel. That's why. And Keanu Reeves actually wants to make a proper fucking film, not have, you know, Keanu's director being directed by Kevin Feige. That's why. Sean Franklin, good morning. Good morning, Sean, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the DC Universe Daily Live. So that's your headline today, my friend, and everyone else who's in. It's been confirmed by the director, should I say, that that Constantine 2 will be not just an R-rated movie, but a hard R movie. And I'm very, very happy about that. And as I said before, some people came in. I think it's important to have this new DCU have light movies and dark movies at the same time. A little bit of everything for different people. It doesn't all have to be light, and it all doesn't have to be dark. And I think since Snyder, that's been the conversation. Oh, it has to be dark. Of course, it's the Dark Knight. It has to be dark. Oh, no, it has to be family friendly. It literally can be both. You can have some family friendly movies, and you can have some hard R movies and darker movies as well. It can be a universe for everything. And I think that's really, really fun. So if this is the way we're going to go, and it looks like it is, because the first two movies in the DC universe look to be Superman, then Constantine in terms of shooting schedules, it looks like, and you know, the Superman movie is further along than everyone thinks, apparently, and I think we're going to get some big Superman movie news very, very soon, either this week or next week. So we will find out some stuff. As I say, Peter Safran, I nearly said Peter Gunn. Peter Safran and James Gunn have been working on this franchise and developing its blueprint for the past 6 months secretly. So they just haven't been working on this for the past 2 weeks, and that's clear. And so, yeah, I definitely expect a huge Superman announcement for the movie starring Henry Cavill very, very soon. It would be amazing if they announced Henry along with Jason Momoa as Lobo, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure that's actually happening, but if it did, it would be awesome. But I don't think you can have Lobo as the main villain. He can be one character because literally he's this alien bounty hunter, right? So he could be going after the threat, which would be interesting. He's kind of that. I mean, Han Solo isn't as dark as Lobo, but Han Solo's kind of that character where he's more of an anti-hero. He's not a pure hero, Han Solo. You know, he's a bounty hunter. He breaks the rules. He ain't like Luke. He ain't like Obi-Wan. He's a different character. So I think Lobo could be very, very awesome. And, you know, Jason Momoa could be a great Lobo as well. So, yes, as I say, a Superman movie announcement, a big one to clarify the position of that movie very, very soon in the next couple of weeks. And I'm here for that. You know, Superman is my man. Superman is my character. I'm so excited that Henry Cavill's back as Superman and that we're actually literally getting a Superman movie in the next couple of years. I mean, if you're not excited about that, how can you call yourself a DC fan? I'm not a fan. I'm not here for a director. I'm not here for actors. I'm here for my beautiful, awesome DC, better than Marvel characters. And that's why I'm here. So it's all very, very exciting. And, you know, bring on that Constantine Hard R sequel. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And as I say, you know, lots of things developing. So on Twitter, I follow Home of DCU and Flash Movie News, right? I follow them because they talk about DC. But I don't think these two accounts, who I believe are actually connected, know anything that's going on. So the Flash Movie News is obsessed with saying that the Flash movie has had very, very few changes. Now, I don't know. There was rumors of kind of extensive reshoots around May-ish, around the summertime, early summer, but they could be right. And that Michael Keaton's role in it is still Michael Keaton's role. So let's look at this. I believe, right, if they haven't made many changes, it's because the fucking movie doesn't even matter in context to the future of the DCU. And the Flash movie is still DCEU, maybe, right? So if they haven't made many changes, it's because they're not going to do what Hamada did and use this movie to initiate a new timeline. Maybe the DCEU just finishes after Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom and we just start again. I'm not convinced of that totally, but that could be one of the options they're thinking of and playing with. But also, the Flash Movie News could be talking out of their ass. And there have been some big, extensive changes to that movie. I don't know for sure. My suspicion is if they are using the Flash movie to start a new timeline, that Michael Keaton being part of the new timeline may be cut. But again, it might not be cut. So it's interesting. But yeah, one of my theories is that these 4 DCEU movies coming out have got some, got very little to do with the new DC universe. And if those changes haven't happened to the Flash movie, then it's kind of, we don't care about these movies. We're stuck with them. We're stuck with these Hamadaverse movies. We've got to put them out. They've been made. The studio spent money. We want our money back. We want to make some money. Fair enough. That's why I'm not totally that excited for the 4 movies next year. Now, of course, I'm slightly excited. They're DC movies. Bring it on and all of that. I mean, I can't really see where the big box office is coming from because, as we know, the DCEU just wasn't a great brand and had very little consumer reliability and loyalty. That's why they're doing this new universe. This is why they're talking about one story spanning one DC universe, right? And this is what they're doing. So, when I hear people talking about what may have happened with the Flash movie or what may not have happened, it's not very, very relevant. But I doubt that home of DCU and the Flash Movie News know anything, know jack shit about what the plan is. But, basically you're talking about, listen, I follow them. I'll follow them. I'll follow them till they block me, right? But I just think it's, I have this aversion to shills because they kind of get on my nerves because they don't have any criticism to them and they don't have any context to them. It's just, yeah. Oh my God, it's DC. Oh my God, it's DC. Well, that gets boring after a while. There's got to be some constructive criticism. People got very angry with me when these DC movies were delayed earlier this year because I was losing my shit. I was saying there was more to these cancellations. People were leaving my channel because they want an echo chamber. They just want someone to shill this shit. And that is not in my makeup to shill this shit. It is in my makeup to speak my mind. If you want someone to speak their mind to you, you're at the right place. If you want someone to say, oh my God, best movie ever, then you're on the wrong platform, right? Because my motivation isn't to lie about my feelings just to enable my channel. I don't care. This channel to me and my social media platforms are like a lottery ticket. If I get the winning numbers, great. If I don't, I carry on. I carry on what I'm doing. That's the way it is. But, one of the reasons I started this channel is so I can speak and I can speak my mind. And that's what I like to do because there's a lot of bullshitters out there. I'm on Twitter all the time. I see these different fans, with their hot takes and their fucking nonsense. And it is highly triggering. Because a lot of these people, as I say, like Home of DCU and like Flash Film News, know jack shit about what's going on. Now, I'm not telling you I have an inside eye into this because Zaslav's closed the door to that. So most sources don't really know much and they're just guessing, right? Well, I'm not going to guess. When I tell you something, it's just a theory. I'm theorizing. And a lot of my theories come true because I'm using my common sense and I understand how the people in this industry think. We live in an industry now where it's all about making money, right? It's not about art. It's about making money. So they're looking to turn DCU into a cohesive franchise, right? Where people think, I saw that, I've got to see the next one. A continuing saga, like Faye did with the MCU. It doesn't mean we're going to be exactly like the MCU. DC, its universes and its characters are a stark contrast to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel Comics characters. It's so different. We have gods. We also have real-world characters like Batman and Green Arrow, right? So the point with DC is that you can mix the realism with the fantastical. One goes with the other. We saw that a lot with the Arrow TV show where, you know, Oliver meets lots of different people. In Smallville, Oliver Queen becomes friends with Clark Kent, an alien from another planet. He says to him in one episode, I don't really understand your alien stuff. And that's a good thing. That's why it's fun, mixing, you know, the fantastical with the grounded. But once you start saying, oh, no, that's fantastical, we can't get involved with that, that's one note and boring. Who wants that? So it's great to be grounded, but it's also, look, the DC universe, like the Marvel universe, in fact, is that it has its reality base and it has its fantastical base. And once you marry both the fantastical characters and elements with the reality characters, the real world characters, the gritty, grounded characters, you've got something very, very exciting. Because that's why Batman and Superman work so well when they're together. This is why everyone wants World's Finest, because you've got a grounded human being wearing a costume and a mask. Then you've got a superhero who was raised in Kansas, but is from another planet, who was born on another planet. So when you put these two characters together, the grounded and the fantastical, it's an explosion. And it works. And it's fun. It's all about imagination, people. We have a lot of fans around who are basically one or the other, right? And this is the problem. And this is where arguments stem from. And this is where my frustration comes from with these people. Of course, DC has, you know, realism, but it also has fantastical elements. And just because you're dealing with Batman, it doesn't mean you can't introduce Clayface. Because in the comics, Clayface comes against Batman, right? So why would you not? Why wouldn't Matt Reeves want to introduce that? Matt Reeves could give it his own grounded version. Mr. Freeze could easily be more grounded in the Reeves-Pattinson universe, right? As I say, it's all about, you know, nothing. For me, when I talk about this stuff, nothing's off the table, nothing. When people say to me, what do you think they're going to do here? Anything is possible. And anything is possible when you're dealing with James Gunn. He is interested in characters like Batmite, but he's already been talking about Batman and Superman. He knows people would love a World's Finest. It would be amazing. And it's better than having Batman and Superman, you know, taking lumps out of each other. Because ultimately, who wants Batman and Superman as mortal enemies, right? Even the Lego Batman movie make a fucking joke of that. You know, when Batman keeps looking at Joker's saying, who's your mortal enemy? And he goes, Superman. And like Joker's saying, but he's not even a villain. So it's hilarious. But love that movie, by the way. You've noticed I've been talking a lot about it recently. So fun. Especially it came after BVS, where kind of a lot of people didn't like. Then you've got such a good movie. I think it's a bona fide Batman movie. It's so good and made by really, really talented people. So for me, when I'm talking about DC Comics and DC movies and TV, animation and even gaming, nothing's off the table. Anything's possible. And if you're a talented creative, you can marry the fantastical with the grounded. Otherwise, Superman and Batman wouldn't be kind of a thing, right? It's not just that they're the first two superheroes ever introduced to DC Comics. It's that when they're together, something very, very special happens for me. And I really do enjoy that element. So yeah, I love it. I love Batman and Superman together. And yeah, I'm so excited for this DC universe. And, you know, all I can think about now is the future. That's where my mind is at. I pretty much know what Shazam! Fury of the Gods is going to be. I pretty much know. Well, I do know if they're sticking to the original test screening, if they haven't made many big changes. I know the Flash movie very, very well. I've heard a lot of stuff about the test screenings of Blue Beetle. So I love Blue Beetle as an idea. I'm not overly excited about the movie because it looks like it's just about being progressive and representing, you know, a corner of society. And if that's all the motivations is about, boring, put the kettle on, but I'll watch it, right? And then you have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which I'm really excited about, by the way, because I love James Wan. James Wan made a tremendous movie in Aquaman, and its billion-dollar global take-home proves that it was the one. The audiences said, yeah, man, we've seen the trailer. This looks fucking awesome. The underwater stuff, everything is amazing. And Zack Snyder saying not many people were talking about Aquaman, but they were talking about BVS. Most people spoke about BVS, Zack, because they didn't like it. People were speaking about Aquaman, Zack, because they loved it. It was great. And it represented Aquaman in the great way. In a great way. Brilliant. And, you know, Amber Heard was great as Mira. And Willem Dafoe was great as well. And, of course, you know, Orm was a great villain. Dolph Lundgren even performed really well as Mira's dad as well. So there was that was a great movie. And we were all talking about it at the time. One of my early videos was, I've seen the Aquaman movie. I saw an early screening of it and I loved it. And then as soon as it was released, I went multiple times to see it. So, yeah, I can't wait for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Let's see what type of movie it's going to be. Lots of people saying, looking forward to the Flash movie. Well, as I said at the time before Hamada left and before this merger happened, the problem with the Flash movie, it was written by Christina Hodson. And unless there's rewrites, I know Ben Affleck rewrote his portion of the movie because he hated her script. Christina Hodson is a failure. Christina Hodson is another progressive in the industry. Oh, I bet she loved the fact that she was writing Superman being replaced by Supergirl. Obviously, that's not happening. So when Flash Film News say, well, there's no major changes, well, Superman's now going to appear, surely. Maybe he's going to appear. I don't know. Again, we don't know the connection between the old DCEU and the new DCU. We just don't know. So will he appear? Who knows? Will they wait till the new DCU? Who knows? It's exciting trying to work it out, though, isn't it? SLCA, will the upcoming DCU movies have post-credit scenes? That's an interesting one. If you're talking about the 4 movies next year and not the brand new universe, I think the brand new universe DCU movies are all going to have post-credit scenes. We're going to go that way because people love them. In terms of the DCEU, we know that Black Adam had a famous post-credit scene with Superman. So there is a chance that all these movies will have a post-credit scene. Personally, I love post-credit scenes. Short Circuit, why are they not announcing anything about Batman? Batman is as important as Superman. Well, that's probably one of the easiest questions I've ever had. They're not ready to announce him yet. They probably, maybe they've decided who's going to be their Batman in the DC universe, but they're just not ready to announce it, right? Officially, they've only been there, my friend, for a couple of weeks. And obviously the Superman thing, because basically the Superman thing had to be announced because he was in a post-credit scene. He was reintroduced into the Black Adam post-credit scene. So that's why that was announced, because they had to announce it. They're just not ready to announce it yet. And just because Short Circuit, they haven't announced it yet, it doesn't mean they're saying he's not as important. They're just not ready. Maybe they haven't made a decision yet. So, and plus, you've got lots of Batman announcements lately. You know that Batman 2's happening. You know the Penguin continues hours after the Batman movie. And you know you're getting an Arkham series as well. So that's pretty exciting. So no one's putting Batman in the back seat. You are getting so much Batman media coming. So really, yeah, I don't know what you're complaining about there. So, but yeah, we will find out eventually. But they may not know what where Batman's future lays in terms of the DC universe and who it's going to be and all of that. Short Circuit, do you watch sports cricket? Just an outside topic question. Nope. Not interested in cricket. Bores me. Golf bores me. Tennis bores me. Loved watching snooker as a kid. But I'm a football man. Anyway, let's keep on talking about DC. If you want to go off topic, I'm live every evening where it's not just about DC and we can talk about anything, predominantly other films, TV and movies. But yeah, this is the DC Universe Daily Live, and I can re-announce and retell you again, the headline is up there. Constantine 2 is going to be a hard R-rated movie, and I'm really looking forward to that. Evidence that the new DC Universe will have light, family-friendly fare and darker fare as well. It will have a variety in it, and this is the right way to go. Don't make your universe just light and fluffy. Don't make your universe just dark. Have a bit of everything, and that's great. Short Circuit. What are the upcoming series of the DCU? Nothing's been announced, my friend. Nothing's been announced. All we know this far is in the Batman universe, we are getting the Penguin series, we are getting the Arkham series, both on HBO Max, and of course, Peacemaker 2 is in development. Where that lays within the new DC universe or the old DCEU, I have no idea. And as we get closer to the launch of the DC universe, we should know. We still don't know if next year's movies are DC universe or still DCEU. It's kind of questions like this that could be easily clarified because people are quite confused. So it's interesting. But the only thing we know about the DC universe at the moment properly is that Henry Cavill will be playing Superman, obviously. And that's what's happening, right? So that's exciting. We know that. Short Circuit, they are taking tests of our patients waiting for DCU announcements. Still, they are not announcing properly. They are still not ready, maybe. Short Circuit, James Gunn and Peter Safran took over, 2 weeks ago? So I don't know why you're losing your patience. They haven't been there very long, have they? We've got to give them a chance. You've got 4 DC movies out next year. You've got the Batman stuff happening on HBO Max, and you're getting Peacemaker 2. I mean, I think that's more than enough to be getting on with, and when they're ready to make the announcements, they will. But we want them to take their time. CLSA, will Keanu continue in DCU as Constantine? I don't know for sure if this film is part of the DC universe, but I think everything's part of the DC universe, right? Going forward and being made from the stuff that hasn't been made and finished yet. So I would guess that it will be part of DC Universe. Obviously, they've had these discussions because they're going forward with this project. This project is definitely happening. But it's a good question, SLCA, but I don't know for sure. In fact, nobody outside of DC Studios and Warner Brothers Discovery can answer that question. They can guess, they can pretend they know everything that's going on. I don't know that. They don't know that. You don't know that. But I would guess it will be part of the new DC universe. So yeah, because we want a Justice League Dark in there, we want a Constantine in there, and it's going to be fun. Having Keanu anyway, as anything, part of this universe is an honor. Short Circuit, it would be cool if Keanu is part of the DCU along with Henry, Ben, Gal, Ray. It will be really cool. Well, at this moment in time, that's something else I'm going to throw out there, that we don't actually know if Gal, Ben for sure, may definitely not be involved. There's no clarification of Ben. But at this moment in time, we only know that Henry is part of the DC universe. I suppose you could guess that Keanu is going to be part of the DC universe, but thus far, with him being introduced in that post-credit scene, and obviously the next Superman movie not going to be finished until the DC universe is launched, I'm assuming, because everything's going to be DC universe now, I think. I mean, just don't know about that. Basically, what I'm saying is, we know Henry's part of the new DC universe. Gal, don't know. Ray, don't know. Definitely, Ray's not even a part of the old DCEU at the moment. So, yeah, as cool as it would be, we don't know where the dominoes are going to fall there. It could be that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo instead of Aquaman. He could play both if they embrace the multiverse strategy as Walter Hamada was going to. But I think Hamada's multiverse strategy was going to be shit because he doesn't understand the comics. James Gunn gets it. So if he's going multiverse, he's going to do it in a really exciting way. For example, Momoa as Lobo and Aquaman. That would be really cool. But that may be not necessarily what they're doing. It could be that, or it could be he's not going to play Aquaman anymore and he's just going to play Lobo. It's either or. It could be either of those things or something else I haven't even thought of. And normally there's not much I don't think of. But I think it's exciting for us fans to be theorizing like this because we don't really know what's going on. And that's okay. And I think that's a fun thing to do, isn't it? And certainly that's what I used to love doing when I used to watch Lost, trying to work out where the connections were, or with the X-Files. It's good for the kind of grey matter in the fan brain to be going extra time and trying to work out what they're going to do with this good shit that we're going to be getting. But yeah, I'm very hyped and excited for the future. It's about time. A cohesive universe, one story on multiple platforms, including gaming, animation, TV, and film. That's ambitious. That's fun. Of course, there's pitfalls, but let's hope the people who are doing this know what they're doing. And personally, I have great faith in Peter Safran, James Gunn, and everybody else at the studio. So yeah, I think they're not gonna mess around with this. They know they can't afford to make any mistakes. This new DC universe has to be a success, and I think they definitely understand that. So yeah, so I'm just as intrigued as all of you. What's going to happen next? And yeah. But it is a wait and see scenario. And But yeah, I'm just, as I was saying before, I'm just happy that Keanu Reeves is part of DC and not Marvel. I'm glad he rejected Marvel for DC. That's fun. That's brilliant. I want people to choose DC instead of Marvel. And I think with James Gunn involved as well, more people will pump for DC over Marvel. But I mean, he's done really well, Faye, with the kind of castings that he's done. And he's always able to pick out a celebrity piece of casting, it's amazing, really, when you think of, what's his name? Oh, damn, I forgot his name now. I can't remember his name, the actor from Don't Worry, Darling, the singer. I mean, he's in the MCU as well now. So it's just mad. But yeah, loads of things. As far as I'm concerned, loads of things to look forward to in the DC universe. But for this year, we are done with DC. Black Adam was the last movie. We were going to have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom at the end of this year. But it's not happening. So we can look forward to those 4 DC movies next year. I'm sure everyone's going to have theories about how this all plays out going forward. But at this moment in time, we have no clarification. And despite what people like the Flash Film News, home of DCU, say, they don't really know. I noticed DCU were going on about Wonder Woman 3 and it being set in the modern world and how that's great. Yeah, because that suddenly makes Patty Jenkins a great director. As I say, I don't want her Wonder Woman 3 happening. If they do allow her Wonder Woman 3 to happen, then I'm going to start having some major doubts over this leadership, because anyone can see from Wonder Woman 84 that Patty Jenkins isn't fit for purpose, right? Because Disney have literally booted her out. They don't want anything to do with her Star Wars, right? So if everyone else is wise, why are always WB making these shit decisions? Now, WB are being run by different people now, so hopefully they understand how important, for example, Wonder Woman is. Short Circuit, I think Snyder's cast will return. Yeah, well, they're DC cast members. They're paid by WB, so they're DC Studios cast members. It'll be interesting to see Short Circuit, who comes back and who doesn't. I don't know. I would assume they're coming back. But, it's a new universe, as James Gunn told us a week or so ago. So some people may not be coming back. Some people will. We know that Henry Cavill's coming back. So it's a good deduction to say, oh, well, the rest of them are coming back. But for sure, we don't know, do we? So, yeah, we can have an opinion, but we don't know for sure. I'm happy for them to come back. It all depends what the connections are between the DCEU and your new DC universe. SLCA, Constantine 2 confirmed James T's Deadman Justice League Dark may take place in the DCU. If there is a Justice League Dark, it will definitely take place in the DCU, because mostly everything, if not everything, will take place in that new universe. Short Circuit, what do you prefer, darker version of DC or light-hearted one? Well, I'm a man who loves variety, Short Circuit. I'm not this new generation where it's one thing or the other. And considering we're getting a hard R Constantine 2 and a Superman movie in the DC universe, that means we're going to get a bit of everything. And that's exactly what I want. I don't prefer one thing over the other. I like a bit of everything. And I think that's the way a new DC Universe franchise should be going for it. Something for everyone. Believe you me, that will work out better at the box office than just being dark or just being light. It doesn't have to be light or dark. You can have different types of movies with different shades of tones. And that's exciting to me. And so knowing that Constantine 2 will be this hard R, but knowing the Superman movie is going to be a joyful Superman movie, you're going to get a bit of everything, aren't you? Short Circuit, and when do you like to see Shazam getting into Justice League? Well, I don't mind when he gets into Justice League. I think hopefully we can get a ready-made Justice League where you've got the Hall of Justice, the Watchtower already. That's what I'd like in the new DC universe. I don't want them to build this Justice League out slowly like Snyder was doing. We ain't got no time to waste. Have a ready-made Justice Hall of Justice with like hundreds of metahumans, like it is in the comics, like it is in the animated series, and that's how you do it. And I think that's the best way to do it, right? I don't want to see the Justice League slowly built out. You want a proper Justice League universe. And I think the DC universe, I think James Gunn and Peter Safran may be aiming at that, and that would be really cool for me. But yeah, Shazam should already be there, right? Green Lantern should already be there. They're not in the old DCEU because they were taking too long. So you need an active Justice League with a Hall of Justice and a Watchtower, because that's what people want. But people don't want to wait forever. None of us are getting any younger. Just build it, just have it there. Just have it ready. When you go into the new DC universe, however you're going to do it, whether it's connected to the old DCEU or not, you want it already there. Short Circuit, if they are making Justice League dark, then lots of characters need to be introduced if they follow DCAU. Well, it's not too difficult, right? When you start this franchise, when we first see the first movie of this franchise, there's already a built-up Justice League. There's already a Hall of Justice. There's already a Watchtower. That's not that difficult, right? It's already there. That's like the DCAU did. Why can't you do it instead of building it out slowly? No one has time for that, right? And that's how I would do it. Brand new universe, start from fresh, and the Justice League is already there with hundreds and thousands of metahumans, right? Brilliant. You could do Justice League movies. You could do a Justice League HBO Max show, right? Inspired by the animation. It would be really, really good. You don't have to introduce these characters slowly. It's not that challenging to do. It's not that difficult if you use your common sense, which the original DCEU never used common sense to build out a franchise that actually works. It's not a surprise that the DCEU movies don't make much money. It's not a surprise because of the way it is and the way they went about it. People lost faith. That's not what people wanted from a DC franchise. So hopefully lessons have been learned, because they need to be, because DC has to succeed. It's as simple as that. There's no more second chances, Short Circuit. So do the thing properly. Have the Justice League already built out with, you know, all the amenities that they have in the comics and the DCAU, and it'll be fun and people will be excited. A new universe, a new world, hopefully, where things are already built out. Why not? Why can't it already be there? Why do we have to see it one step at a time, right? They tried that. They tried that. And it's done. And it didn't work. Short Circuit, for X, they have to introduce Damian Wayne. And if they have to introduce Damian Wayne, they should develop entire Bat family, Jason Grayson. How will they develop Grayson as he was killed in BVS? Well, you've just answered your own question, but I'll answer it for you. For example, they didn't kill Jason. How will they develop Grayson? Right. Jason Grayson wasn't killed in BVS unless you watched another BVS. Basically, it was Dick Grayson who was killed by the Joker off screen in the DCEU, and Zack Snyder said that. Now, whatever happens, my friend, whether they're using Flashpoint to jump into a new timeline or whether they're starting again after the DCEU is over, basically, we are going into a new timeline one way or another. So whatever happened in BVS won't matter once we get into the DC universe, right? It won't matter. None of this continuity is going to be part of the new universe. This is how they free them up. So we'll have a Dick Grayson, we'll have a Jason Todd, and all of that. So there's no continuation from BVS, right? Basically, it's going to be some kind of small reboot, but some kind of new timeline. Whether we forget about the DCEU after Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, or we create a new timeline from that franchise. In the Flash movie, we basically, in a way, it's like starting again, right? Maybe without totally starting again, which means it doesn't matter what happened in BVS. I think this is very important so we can move forward and so they can get the clay and do whatever they want and not to be beholden to what Zack Snyder was doing. And I think that's very, very important, not to be stuck on other people's work. So whatever happens with the new DC universe, it will be in a new timeline. However they do that, it's definitely going to be a new semi-rebooted thing. So what happened in BVS, my friend, is irrelevant. And I'll be happy about that, even though I love BVS and MOS and the old DCEU, mostly. But people don't have confidence in the old DCEU. That's why they're building out a new universe, and that's important. Short circuit, before thinking about Bat Family, I should think who should be the Batman. That's the main question. Well, it's a question we don't have an answer to. So Ben Affleck was the DCEU Batman. They were planning in making Michael Keaton the main DCEU Batman. I very much doubt that will be a thing in the new DC universe of James Gunn and Peter Safran. So either a brand new actor or maybe Robert Pattinson. It could be one of those two. And I'm happy with one of those two scenarios. But we need a new universe, new timeline. And whatever way you look at it, this is definitely going to happen. But at this moment in time, we don't know. Again, like with everything else, we can hazard a few guesses, but we simply do not know what the plan is. But James Gunn said a new universe, a new DC universe. He said he's focused on the new DC universe. New universe. So new universe, whatever way they're going to do it, is a new universe. So what happened in BVS doesn't matter. I like BVS, but just because I like BVS, I'm not beholden to BVS. Short circuit. Let's Keaton have different Batman universe developing Batman Beyond. Well, that's if they do multiverse, of course, and they may not do multiverse. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing? Multiverse is part of DC Comics, so you could do that. I know lots of people want Batman Beyond, but maybe you may have to wait a few years for that one. Because you can't have everything straight away. Do you know what I mean? Or it's just going to be confusing and silly. But yeah, I'm open to Batman Beyond. I'm open to whatever they want to do, but we'll see. Obviously, it has to work in my imagination for me to agree with it. But whether I can agree with something or not, they'll do it anyway. But I hope, from my point of view, they make the right decisions and they make common sense decisions. Otherwise, we're just going to get into the same messes and, dig in the holes that they did with the DCEU. I think James Gunn is very open-minded. I think he understands what's needed. And, the potential is limitless with James Gunn and Peter Safran. And I'm very, very excited for this future. But definitely a brand new timeline, which could embrace the multiverse. If it's done properly, that also could be a very exciting concept. But whether you're multiverse or not, you're all going to be part of the DC universe. That's the point. So in a way, Joker and the Batman are part of the multiverse. Now, if they use Flashpoint, after that, those worlds could kind of combine with the main universe. Who knows what they're planning? But it's exciting not knowing. I don't need to know it all at this moment. Because when you don't know what's actually going to happen for sure, there's so many, there's so many multiple possibilities. And it's always exciting before you know something for sure. When you don't know who the next Bond's going to be or who the next Doctor's going to be, you can fan cast and things like that. So it's very, very exciting. And yeah, I love the theorizing. I think it's awesome. And I think they'll make the right decisions here. But it's definitely one way or the other. And I don't know how they're going to do it. It's definitely a brand new timeline. And people shouldn't make any assumptions about who's going to be involved and who's not going to be involved yet, because until we know, and I have ideas in my head, I have gut feelings what direction they're going with here. As soon as I saw Henry Cavill's Superman appearance in the Black Adam post-credit scene, I kind of thinking, new timeline, different type of Superman maybe, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe he just changed his hairstyle, right? Maybe, who knows? And what's the correlation between Black Adam? Is Black Adam still in the old DCEU? Well, surely he has to be, because you've got Waller, you've got the other character who's played by the actress married to James Gunn. So at this moment, it's a little bit confusing. I can't get my head around it because of those facts. How they create a new timeline. How is it a brand new universe? How does that work? Interesting, and so fucking interesting. And that's why I'm hyped, because there's so many possible scenarios here as well. So that's what I like about it. I like the fact I'm not one of these YouTubers or, social media people who tells you it's this, it has to be this because that's what I want. I will tell you there's endless possibilities of what could happen in the new DC universe. And that's what excites me. It could be anything. So as I say, these people like DC, home of DCU or the Flash Film News think they know what's going to happen, but they don't. They're just telling you what they want to happen from their own bias. And that really, really does bore the fuck out of me. Biased people are the worst. And I've been biased in my time. I used to be biased towards the Snyderverse. I just only wanted Snyderverse like a lot of other people. But now my mind is open, right, to something new, because I think a new timeline, right, and kind of starting again from scratch is a really good way of doing this, because it frees them up to do something new and vast and exciting. So whatever this is going to be, it's going to be exciting. And it's going to have lots of different opinions, of course. It will break Twitter. It doesn't take much to break Twitter, but I'm so utterly excited about the whole situation. So I'm going to be live for another 8 minutes here on the DC Universe Daily Live, Tuesday's edition. This is Movies TV Mad. Whoever's come into this and whoever's rewatching this when this is finished, if you're rewatching this, I hope you enjoyed it as well and you enjoyed the different conversations. And I'd be very interested. Comment if you're watching this back. What do you think of the news that the Constantine sequel starring Keanu Reeves will be a hard R-rated movie? I think it's excellent news, and I think Constantine should be that way. Apparently, he's going to be a lot more kind of gritty in it, a lot more sarcastic, So that is Constantine, and that's going to be fun too. And I think from the moment they confirmed Constantine 2 was happening, J.J. Abrams' Constantine went out the window. That definitely isn't going to happen, because you can't have two fucking Constantines. That would be fucking stupid, and I don't think that's going to happen. So bring on Keanu Reeves. I mean, having Keanu Reeves as part of the DCU, the DC Universe, is a good decision, isn't it? Because everybody loves Keanu, and everyone wants Keanu to be part of Star Wars or the MCU, but we're getting him a DC Universe, and that's a fun thing, because he is so good. People like him. He's a nice guy. So, yeah, what's not to like about that? He's already done one Constantine. It makes sense. He's wanted to do this sequel like forever, which is a fun thing as well. So, yeah, I'm really, really happy about that. Really, really happy about that. And I think it's awesome. And really, really awesome. And, yeah, you just wonder what's to come next as well. So, yes, I mean, I still expect a couple of little announcements, maybe big announcements, before the end of this year. SLCA, does Peacemaker belong in the DCU? Well, these are things we need clarifying on. So, obviously, Peacemaker is part of the old DCEU. So, Peacemaker 2 may not even be released next year. It depends when Gunn finishes it all off. It might be next year. It might be 2024. Who knows? That's interesting. So if it's released next year, is it still DCEU, DCU? Nobody knows. Considering it's James Gunn's baby, you would assume it'll be part of DC Universe. But I can't say. It's all very, very interesting again. But it's James Gunn's project, so you would imagine that Peacemaker would be part of this new universe. Now, how that happens, I don't know. How you suddenly going from one universe from the other? Is that what you're going to do? Are you using Flashpoint to do it? Maybe not. with the way things are right now. It doesn't seem like they changed much from that movie. So yeah, but one way or the other, I'm sure Peacemaker will be part of that. But I think they may make some changes. Maybe add King Shark to Aquaman and Lost Kingdom. Who knows? That will be very, very exciting. So who knows? What Gunn may do, he may add some of his Suicide Squad characters into these upcoming DC movies next year, just to amplify the actual box office. But one way or another, we are heading to a new timeline, a new universe, so they can mold the clay and so they can do whatever they want. And you would imagine that Peacemaker is involved in the future of DC Universe because he's a James Gunn character. So everybody likes Peacemaker. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we'll move on from Peacemaker. Maybe he'll remain in the DCEU and be finished with after season 2. I have no idea. What I do know is anything is possible. And I'm not going to say no to this and yes to that, because that would make me really, really arrogant. Because I don't know what James and Peter and the rest of them are thinking. At the moment, I don't get it. I must admit, I don't get it. The Wonder Woman 3 thing is confusing. Is it? Isn't it? How does Henry Cavill still play Superman if it's a brand new universe? It just blows your fucking mind. But I enjoy it. I enjoy trying to guess what they're thinking. It's always great to try and put yourself in a creative's mind, because then it's exciting to see what they're going to do. Because it is really exciting, isn't it? Not knowing. And I don't know. I simply don't know. So, yeah, I'm sorry, SLCA. I can't give you a solid answer on that one. But if the studio aren't doing it, I don't know how I'm supposed to know. But, yeah, eventually everything will come clear and then we'll know. And so, yeah, we'll wait and see. If there's anything else you want to say in the next 3 minutes, now's the time to do it. I will be back live. I'm about to upload a video looking back at Doctor Who, the movie, which I absolutely adore. And I'm going to share my delight and love for that movie in a video I'm uploading. That'll take a couple of hours to do. And I'll be back tonight, same back place, same back channel, with our evening live chat. It was a bit of a laugh last night. People always seem to be getting triggered on it, but it's fun. John, if Blue Beetle flops, I don't think we will see him again. No, I don't agree with you there again, John, and let me clarify to you before I go why. Basically, first of all, Blue Beetle has nothing to do with James Gunn or Peter Safran, David Zaslav, Mick DeLuca, or Pam Adby. Nothing to do with the new leadership. That's the old leadership, right? So if it's that bad, or it may just be that people weren't interested and they didn't make people interested in the character, because there is a way to make people interested in like grade Z characters like Iron Man, etc. and Guardians, right? If you make the films properly, people will relate and like them. So if people don't relate to the guy, the kid from Cobra Kai, that's a problem and that's on them. So here's the thing, John. Anything that goes wrong with Black Adam, right? Shazam! Fury of the Gods, Flash, the Flash movie, Blue Beetle, Aquaman and Lost Kingdom, basically, they can say at the studio now, nothing to do with us. We tried to make some changes. It didn't work. It's not our fault. And we believe, although they didn't get Blue Beetle right, and we don't know if they have or haven't got Blue Beetle right, we can do a better job. So no, if this flops, it doesn't mean they can't do Blue Beetle again, because it will be the new people running DC Studios making it. So it's fine. Now, if they start making movies that don't work, then that's on them. But at the moment and next year, if you feel Black Adam hasn't made the good enough money, you didn't like the film, don't blame these people. Blame Hamada and Emmerich and the rest of them, right? If you think like I do that greenlighting a Barbie movie, but by starring a feminist activist, right, and she wants to use activism to weaponize Barbie, and you think that's a dumb decision, that's not David Zaslav's fault, that's Toby Emmerich's fault. So you've got to understand how things are working here. These DC movies coming up next year and nothing to do with this leadership and nothing to do with the future plan. They didn't do this. So if they bomb, they can still use these characters, start again, recast, whatever, right? And, redevelop them. So, no, I don't agree with you there, John. No, we will, whatever happens, I'm sure Blue Beetle is a great character, especially if you've got him with Booster Gold. I don't even think Booster Gold is in this movie. So personally, I'm not expecting much from a movie that has like 30% subtitles in it, and he's trying to be progressive and only be progressive. I'm looking forward to the marketing when they start talking about representation every 5 minutes. Representation matters, but you don't bore on about it all the fucking time. And if representation and being progressive is all this movie is about, boring, put the kettle on, as I said on the top of the show. This has been the DC Universe Daily Live here on Movies TV Mad with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. Check out my video later on when it uploads, looking back at Doctor Who the movie. And tonight, I'm back live. Make sure you're all here. I can't tell you the time because I'm a free fucking spirit, but I will be back sometime tonight. So until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.